to Season 1 Round 2. Last week there was a one-off showing from F1 Nico, which led to him taking the race win. And this week he's left. So there's a few more unknown entities of Owen CFC, Darkness, and then Jezza. Hopefully I can navigate my way around them and see my way to success, but who knows? It's anyone's game here in Austria for a short quali session and then a 36 lap race. Austria, not my strongest of circuits. Well, I'm fairly good here, but then it's very difficult to find time. So yeah, let's go to the race. I've got some iron brew with me, but yeah, let's hope that can power me through. I will go for balanced allocation. I'm looking at a possible 1 stop, maybe a 2 stop, as my teammate is not partaking. Quite a few names did not appear, which is a slight shame. Well, 9 seconds until we can get away with qualifying. For those in chat, who do you think will get pole? I think it's going to be between me, Snake Hunter and Darkness, because Darkness is a real unknown entity here. I don't actually know how quick he is. It's a wet qualifying session here. I'm going to, however, go for a dry setup, but just match the wings a bit more. As there's one set of full wets, but it's getting lighter, says Mark. Hopefully these early stages I can get a decent lap on the board. If I can do that, then I'm pretty sure I can do anything here. As out ahead is Owen CFC in the Alpine, I believe it is, and Thomas James. I'll be honest, the 2 Alpines could be a massive title threat now. They are Thomas James, he was fastest man of the race last week by about 4 tenths, but he only came 4th, showing he does have pace if he's in the right place at the right time. As there's me overtaking Thomas James on my outlap. Just really want to try and restrict his pace in a way by being ahead of him for my flyer, but not massively ahead, just far enough ahead that I can do a flyer, but they'll all drop off. I'll put the pressure all on me to do a decent first run. Sliding around the final few corners now, and onto the first lap of the weekend. Well, not weekend, of the day here. What can I do? What can the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, how many cars behind me, what can they all do? As there's an odd that I could be as low as 10th here, meaning it's anyone's game here in qualifying, as it is a wet session. Last time there was a wet session I went on to win, that being the pre-season for this league at Monza. It was a wet race and I drove in very dominant fashion. Hopefully that fashion can continue here, but who really knows? This completely open-minded and open doors, as there are quite a few new names this weekend, some new creators joining in, such as Owen CFC or Dark, both on TikTok, And then Jezza, very popular on YouTube. He's got about 3k subs. And then he's also streaming on TikTok as this race unravels. As out the final corner I go, and it's a 14.7 for banker. Probably not the best. However, I do quieten Thomas James and Owen CFC on my run. Darkness slots into third, so it does look reassuring. What can Jezza do? He's only in fifth. What about Snake Hunter? He's quick, but how quick will he be? He crosses the line, and it's not even a top 5. He may actually have just been on an out lap due to how slow it is. Now through the final corner, I think Mumbo Jumbo, who's on a flyer. No, he's on an out lap as well. Max Perrin, however, 4th fastest here. The Williams doing really well. A step up from their 10th and 11th in qualifying only a week ago. That then being 9th and 10th in the race. Not too much progression made. But currently, they look good out there. Or at least Max Perrin does. As Jedi goes 5th fastest in the Haas. 1 Haas, 1 Sauber, 1 Ferrari, 2 Williams, 1 McLaren, 2 Aston Martins and 2 Alpines. As Darkness goes 2nd fastest. The track's evolving, the track's getting quicker as the rain gets lighter. Could we be seeing intermediates come into play here? Possibly. I think it's an option, but I don't know how early it is to make that call. Let's look at that top 3. It's mighty close. Until we look there, 5 seconds off. Poor soul. It is wet conditions, so I do not blame him. What I'm gonna do is go back out, see if there's any more room for improvement, and then probably call that quits until the late stages. Maybe find out what some drivers are selecting, or just drive around a bit longer, because I honestly think it will be full wets till the end of the session. I don't think we'll actually get much of that intermediate running here in Austria. As Darkness has actually improved, he's going for more like long run focus. He's just going to be chipping quicker and quicker as the track gets drier and drier, whereas I'm focusing on more hot lap in lap of a run plan. A bit more time consuming, a bit less track time, but it's the lower fuel loads, whereas he's going to be burning out fuel all the way through session. I can't lie, Inter's now looking at the track and how it's evolving, very much an option. Like in Monza, it was very damp in the early stages. It just got quicker and quicker as there's 13.8s being put in. As I now start my run, you can see it's fairly neutral into turn 1. It's all about the exit of the corner, already finding a 10th or so. So yeah, it just shows how much quicker the track is getting here. As out of turn 3, it's just over a tenth and a half. Owen CFC on Inters. Bold statement to make this early in the session. There's still 10 minutes to go, and Inters are being thrown out there by some. As I'm about 2 temps up, heading through the final aspect of the middle sector. Car is getting a lot more slidey, however, and a lot more redundant in the steering. So yeah, it's going to be a fairly small improvement, but that's all I can really do with this machinery this time around, at least. However, out of the final corner, massive gains. It's up to the line, fastest in the final sector, but 4 tenths off. I really want to see what Owen CFC does in his lap, but look at how much I've gained out of turn 1 alone. It's 2.5 tenths improvement. With my fuel load, if I do it, I probably won't be able to make it back into the pits, so yeah, I will have to sit back and take defeat in this one, but already finding the improvement. I definitely think Inters is the realm in which drivers want to be in, as it's nice to see a bit of variety in tyre choices already at the mid stage of the session. But look at how much I'm gaining, even when I ain't burning ERS. Just shows how much drier the circuit is now than it was about 3-4 laps ago, as Thomas James does make a substantial gain up the timing board. What about Owen? He's leaving the final corner. He's heading up to the line. If he goes fastest, it's surely intermediates. He doesn't. That's very interesting. The Inters may not be there as of yet, but it's an option. I think what we will see at the very end of the session is a conflict between the Inters and the full wets. Some will decide it's going to be Inters, whereas some will go, let's be safe and do full wets. We'll find massive time, but if it's Inters, then we've lost a bit. What I want to do is actually look at Owen's sector times on his interlap. He was finding improvement in the final 2 sectors. It was just sector 1 where he's lacking, but now he's setting all personal bests on the intermediate tyres. Well, fastest man on the track at the moment is on Inters. However, I'm pretty sure everyone is going to be waiting it out. However, even though Inters is the tyres to be on, I'm purple in the final sector, only using full wets. Let's give it another, I'd say, minute, and then go for a double run. But yeah, there's the timings. Snake Hunter on top, 1:12.6. Surely, if I haven't done a lap on the Inters yet, I could be in a really good place when I do them. As there's King on an out lap, Max Perrin following behind. Hopefully the Williams can take a step up from the back two in quali last time out. But yeah, we will only find out when the lap's done. Snake Hunter's not really on a flyer. But let's start making our way out. Final two runs. It's all or nothing. Snake Hunter has pitted. Jezza is going to be coming out in a minute. Snake Hunter could really be in a great position for when it comes to his final run. Jedi has followed me out of the pit lane, as my plan for this stage is build as much of a gap as possible. Thomas James 1:11.9, new fastest lap of session. I'm 7th when it comes to doing my first run on Inters. It's not where I want to be on the grid, but if this lap goes wrong, it may have to be where I will start. As there's yellows in the final sector for Williams letting and McLaren by. As Snake Hunter, he wants to get out now. He has to get out now, for the fact that there ain't probably going to be enough time for him to do a whole flyer and get back round for another run. He's going to have to be quick with this. Darkness on full wets, it said, as he went for fastest of the session, currently finding 4 attempts out of the first corner. Already finding lots of time. Yellow flags for a slow going Williams car. As I think I've got the timings all wrong. I don't have enough time to go for another run. This is all or nothing run here. 1 lap and 1 lap only. King are going slow, and I've just dropped the ball in the final corner, and I've got 5 place grid penalty for doing so. That's my quali destroyed, all at the cost of someone fucking up. starting from last. I am not going to be happy with that at all. Oh my god. Okay. I was 1.3 off, got heavily impeded. Could have easily gone quicker. But that's where I'm gonna have to be. Last on the grid for the main deal. Yeah, just annoyed at Kinga parking on the apex. Like, that is honestly insane in the extent of impeding. Then because I went offline, I've dropped the car. But let's see what kind of drive I can pull off though. Let's overfuel by that much. Drop wings to 27. And then let's go. I want to get this over and done with. And as quickly as possible. Thomas James thanking the Williams for fucking my lap over because he knew I'd go quicker. He knew I'd go quicker. That just shows how much of a threat I am here, to a point where people are celebrating that I've got that 5-place grid drop because they know I'm quicker. But it's just a very distraught view on the starting grid as I see the whole field ahead of me and no one behind me. Snake Hunter on pole here. Very big point for this season for that Aston Martin. He's got a very crucial pole in a very crucial qualifying session. Mixed conditions, track was getting dry, last run was the run which got him there. And I've got a lot of recovery to do here. The Williams of Max Perrin completely out of position. That will probably lead to him getting 1 or 2 penalty points post event. It's green, but it's a bit further forward than I want to be, so I take that as great. It's 5 red lights here, and away we go. I've got a good start, much better than Kinga. Owen already being lobbed. I'm going to squeeze it between Max Perrin and Jedi. Get pinched by Jedi though. But it's big moves, 3 places up out of turn 1. These are the moves I need to be making in these early doors, because if I don't make them, then I'll be stuck all race. So sorry for that ambitious move, Jedi, but it had to be done here. It's again all or nothing, just like my quali lap, which got chucked in the bin very swiftly. It's now time for me to give this all. Down on the inside of Jezza there. Let's make that move stick, which we will. And now let's hunt down the top 3. It's already mighty close here in terms of me possibly getting the win after that 5th place grid drop, which was completely out of my power. But now it's going to be a little slingy, a line of DRS. Whoever's got lower downforce is going to make the moves. In this case it's going to be Darkness making the move for the lead here early on. But as long as I can stick with this group, I'm pretty confident that I can get on a podium. As they're all squabbling, it's just keeping me in the back burner, ready to pounce if something goes wrong, such as Mumbo Jumbo getting wide there, getting on the dirty piece of road, giving him a little wobble. And I'm out. Oh my god. Slightest bit of contact sees me out in Austria on only the 2nd lap. Owen has retired from session. It's a full course safety car. Well, Alpine says he's leaving because he's DNF'd. Don't even know what he's done. But yeah. Well, let the safety car form. He's arguably winning my championship. Well, safety car, he's still out. The top 2 at the moment, well, almost everyone in the top 6 apart from Jezza. will be overtaking me in the standings here today. Snake Hunter will pull out a 25-point advantage over me, approximately. Thomas James will have about a 12-point, but it's not what I need. With next race being a mystery sprint race, it's good for the sense I'll be towards the fore end for the main sprint. But yeah. Just feels so idiotic making that mistake so early on when I even went 10th to 5th in a lap. Well, that's just racing for you. And the safety car will be in this lap. The order's all packed up. Big question is, when will Snake Hunter go? This is the first safety car this league's ever had, so it can go anyway. But boy oh boy, we are in for a good race, so do not leave. And now we go back underway. Snake Hunter pulls away. They're all on the same strategy, so it's gonna be whoever can execute it the best. It's gonna be like prime esports for the most half, as they'll all be in a line of DRS and toes. I'm just hoping something goes wrong at the foreground. I won't mind letting Darkness take a win. As Snake Hunter leads this race, Thomas James again sitting P2. He loves being in the fight. Today he can actually win for the first time in Formula Creator. It would mean we would have well, no matter what happens, we will have a third new race winner in this league. I won pre-season. F1 Nico, who made a one race stand, went on to win that race. And now today, out of the only other car who has won a race, me, I'm out. So it's everyone's game. Whoever wants it can have it. Snake Hunter, massive snap out of the first corner. Thomas James now with DRS. Just to look how easy it is for the Alpine to almost pull aside and make the move stick. Down the inside he goes, but reconsiders and gets back on his way. As Max Perrin does make a move up the field, there's Thomas James to the outside of the Aston Martin. This could be a whole race along squabble, as there he is. He's into the lead. Goes Thomas James. Snake Hunter in second. Darkness really into back burner. He's there if they both take each other out, which I'd much rather have happen than either of them win, just for the sake of my title. I'm 6 points ahead of them. One of them could be taking home 25 points, meaning I could be in the mud. Anyways, Snake Hunter now DRS on Thomas James, but Darkness, he is literally like looking into darkness. You never know what's there, and in this case it's a Ferrari, a prancing horse who is ready to pounce whenever need be. Defensive move by Thomas James, but Snake Hunter down the inside, and that will be him possibly up into first, but no, instead Darkness around the outside, and that's the Ferrari wrestling his way back up into the top two where he started in this race. It's only going up from here, as there we go, the Ferrari looking very good at possibly sending one on Thomas James. It's going to be a tight battle for the duration of these 36 laps, as there's Darkness pulls to the inside with DRS assistance, and that's the Ferrari into the lead as we start lap 9. However, it's big chance for Thomas James to nick it back off him almost as quickly as he's got it, but Thomas James plays it sensible. He sits back and now he pushes on. Max Perrin, Jezza and Jedi having a battle back there, but this is the main battle for now. The one over 5th is in back burner. It's big points, but it ain't as big as the race for the win, which could disintegrate quite soon as Darkness moves up into the lead. It's Ferrari on top, then an Alpine, Aston Martin, McLaren, Haas, Aston, then the 2 Williams, who are again at the back of it all. As there's a snap by Darkness, Thomas James goes off, but due to regular track limits he can kind of get away from it. As Thomas James getting really close to the back of the Ferrari. However, DRS for both 2nd and 3rd still. Is any of them going to go for it? Down the inside goes Thomas James. Darkness defends on the outside. He takes to the curb and back he goes. But this time Snake Hunter getting a doze has considerations of making it 3 wide, but you can just see that Aston pulling to the inside as Thomas James now leads. But look at the Aston, he's gone down the inside, he's lobbed it, he's hit Thomas James on the apex and he's spun out Darkness in the process. That's going to be him working his way down the order, and there's Mumbo Jumbo moving up into 3rd place here. He's got a bit of end plate damage, unlike Darkness, but he will move on to the podium as Thomas James now really trying to run. He knows this is the perfect time to do so, when he knows that the man behind him could very much be getting a penalty post-race. He could either fight him and risk having the same fate, and then the win goes to someone else, or he could just try and run away. But DRS just keeps him hung up, as we will cut to this squabble over 5th. Is there going to be a move? Jezza has a look to the inside, but he won't go to the inside. Jedi now defending in the Haas. There goes Jezza, he had another look. There's yellow flags on track somewhere, I can't tell where, but there's the Aston having a nip down the inside of the Haas. The Williams just sitting in back burner. Jezza trying to get a bit more temps, a lot of wiggling there as he's trying to keep the car under control, not too strong with the steering. As there's Jedi getting a massive bit of curb, flinging himself miles wide, but over the crest, down the hill into an off-camber right-hander, into another downhill right-hander, same place where I fell to my demise on lap 2 here, but all of them keep it clean. But main thing, Snake Hunter to the inside, he will overtake Thomas James into turn 3. As Jezza now to the outside of Jedi, you can see that the Jedi cannot stop the dark side as Jezza moves up into P5. But will the Jedi strike back? Yes, he will, to the outside here now. He's gonna have to hold his ground, which he does so. Max Perrin's still waiting there, £2, and possibly move up into the top 5 with ease. As what I'm gonna do may get me a copyright, but I'm gonna go to F1 Edit's live stream and see what he says.
All this for 5th place.
Well, as you can tell, it's quite blunt, but he said all this for 5th place. Yes, it's now 4th as Mumbo Jumbo Pits, but it's still 5th. once you've all pitted, ain't it? Let's get up track map just so we can see Kinga in respect to Mumbo Jumbo. But with that early stop from the McLaren about 6 laps earlier, then the 1-stop strat, could he be looking at a 2-stop 13-13-10? That's a possibility. It's a good option, but I personally think the 1-stop's quicker here because there's so little place to gain time. As Jedi, he's now trying to run away from Max Perrin, who has made his way up into P5. Mumbo Jumbo rapidly approaching the second of the Williams. As into the pits goes Jedi. Max Perrin now left to fight for his own against the Aston Martin behind him. To the inside goes Jezza. Will he make the move down the inside? Keeps it clean. He cuts off on the outside, but there's Max Perrin. He pounces straight back at him. And now down the hill, up the hill now, into an upwards braking point. Almost all corners here, you're on a slight tilt when it comes to the braking, and they've made contact. Jez has gone off. I'm pretty sure Max Perrin won't be too happy with that. He says, "What are you doing?" to the Aston. So yeah, that just shows it's getting spicy. But Mumbo Jumbo has quickly disposed of Kinga, and now on pursuit to possibly interfere with the top two, who go another lap. They're trying to make the 1-stop stick. The few laps under safety car due to mine and Owen's DNF, well, my DNF, which led to Owen's because my car ended up going out of control and went across the road into him. But yeah, Max Perrin, DRS now in use. He's gonna wait for the second opportunity of the lap. Jezza gets a bit too much curb, goes off road. As there's the Williams. Look at how quick he is in a straight line. He's just pulled to the inside. And now wrestling. He's gonna give him all the elbows, just like Jezza gave him a few laps ago. And it's a lovely made move. And that's him up into 4th. And now this battle will probably continue for a while longer, as these two up front still going at it. Thomas James has a little snap of oversteer. That's going to really put Snake Hunt into a good position. Look at him having a little peek to the inside, see if anything was opening up for him. But now DRS back in use for the second attempt. Is he going to pull this one off, however? Looks like it will, as Max Perrin has pulled the undercut as on Jezza, but as a reaction to Jedi, who has also disposed of Kinga very quickly. Hopefully Max Perrin's teammate has done enough to hold him up. But there goes Jedi. He's really left Max Perrin in the dust. Just shows how powerful the undercut is here. There's about 7 seconds found, easily putting him into one of the provisional podium places, or top 5 comfortably when it comes to the end of the race. Max Perrin, he's a good 7 or so seconds off the man he was chasing earlier this stint. So I personally think that Mumbo Jumbo is getting closer and closer to undercutting these two cars fighting. Into the pits goes Darkness. Where will he come out in respect to this McLaren? I think it will be behind, but how far? Jez has also gone into the pits. He's reacting to Max Perrin. As Mumbo Jumbo, he's heading up into the first corner, but he's been overcut by Darkness, really showing how long the warm-up phase of them tyres are. And now Darkness will gain 3rd place over the McLaren. There's Jedi just in the background. There's Jezza, who's safely ahead of Kingo because he has pitted. But they all a bit split up now. Who will pit first though? Snake Hunter or Thomas James? I think it will have to be the Alpine who pulls the trigger, as I think out of these two they'd want the freshest tyres, but then if they go too long the tyres are going to go. As in, if I was to have got this far I would have pitted around lap 15 and then tried doing about 21 laps on the hards, which is a really good shout. Maybe even go to about lap 17. But look at that, Thomas James to the outside of Snake Hunter, plenty of room given, and it's the Aston who hangs on still in the lead of this race. However, they are fighting to put themselves clear of me in the standings, because the more points you have over me, the more difficult it is for me to catch you, and that's kind of what they all want. Snake Hunter files into the pits. Thomas James follows his way in. So it's going to be a question who pulls off the quicker pit stop, which is always a fun game to see. There's Snake Hunter, he's in a fairly quick switcheroony, and also fairly quick one by the Alpine, but just being held up as the Aston Martin leaves his pit box. Just shows how minimal the margins are, and they're still out right on top of each other. As Darkness sets fastest lap, the hards really switching on for the Ferrari, but Snake Hunter has a lead to now use. He's out of DRS as Jez is slowly but surely creeping himself in to Max Perrin just up ahead. So we will be having two fights to follow along with for a while, and it's the Williams versus Aston over 6th, and then an Aston over Alpine for first. It's gonna be very, very interesting to see how the Aston more than anyone conducts this fight, because if they both play it wrong, then they're both losing points to their rivals of Alpine and then also Williams. As there's Jezza to the inside, very strong move, and that's him nicely up into P6. But Max Perrin, he's going to return the favour and push him back down a place to the outside. There's a bit of contact, they're all giving each other elbow, which we love to see here. Jezza has a snap though, and Darkness another fastest lap, but Jezza will have to yield for P7, just for now at least, as Snake Hunter is dropping Thomas James. This is a big opportunity to try and make a mark, if it does mean he does get a penalty post-race for the contact with Darkness. If so, he needs to build the gap, and he has 16 laps to do so. As there goes Jezza to the outside, he's got the move over and done with before even needing to brake, but Max Perrin stays there. He also picks up DRS as a result, and that just allows him to just cruise ahead. He just doesn't need to bother about trying to pull alongside. He's already alongside, he just has to close the door, and then when the door's closed, the move's complete. Absolute beautiful in the defensive department. As this fight I see going all the way down to the final corner, as these two old rivals from CRL, they're reunited on track here in FC, as Jez has gone very wide, trying to use up the whole width and a bit more, but Thomas James actually now reeling himself in to the Aston Martin slightly, so he ain't letting him get away too easily, as the pace is slightly swinging more of the Alpine's way now. Jezza to the inside, and then he locks up so he can get DRS and get another try. He could have just saw the move out, give Max Perrin DRS and just get a better exit and hold off that way, but instead he'd rather stay behind a while longer. A bit more dirty air picked up, a bit more hold up, let's say, for the Aston Martin. And now Jezza really shaking all over the curbs, as still neither of these drivers are giving any of each other leeway, which just makes this an amazing race to watch, especially between these two drivers. They aren't like in particular top end, but they are strong enough to give us a great show. As there's Jezza to the outside, he's resorted to the runoff as Max Perrin again gives him a little squeeze at the apex. And now look at Jezza, he's off the road and makes the overtake. He swiftly does return the position, but he uses it to attack again, but then he yields behind just to in a way abide to racing regulations, make it not look like he's got the advantage, but he won't even get the move done there. So yeah, as Thomas James has actually had a moment, he has completely dropped off the Aston ahead of him. They're both on the same tyres, same age, so something really has just gone wrong for the Alpine. It's been a disaster class when he was in a very promising position to win, especially in this very early stage of season. Like, every point matters. There's only 8 races, 2 sprint races, one of them being next week at a mystery event, which not even me, I won't even have knowledge of until I open the lobby, and none of the drivers will find out until they've joined the lobby, and then if they leave the lobby they will not get another invite because we could just say, oh, they prepped for it. But anyways, Jezza now in a very interesting position, I'd say. He could pit for softs and try and do a fastest lap and nick it off Darkness. That will give his teammate an extra point. But then if he does that, he's asking to finish 7th, whereas he could finish 6th, and then Max Perrin could take that opportunity. But I think if Max Perrin takes it, surely Jezza should, and maybe even Jedi, and that'll just lead to the whole order doing it. So it's going to be one big spiral. Only a select few will take that risk for fastest lap though. As there's Jezza, he goes to the inside of Max Perrin, locks up, stays behind. Great driving between the two of them still. Can't help but compliment how well they are doing against each other. Yes, it's only 6th and 7th out of 10, 8 still remaining, but all I can say is at least they've had to fight. Unlike me, I just had to fight the wall and I lost that battle. But yeah, well, that's what you get for not doing enough practice, hey? As they're still very close. We're gonna just stay with them for the rest of the race, I think, because I don't think anyone's gonna get much closer. Maybe Darkness could possibly sneak into DRS of Thomas James. He's gaining about 2, maybe 3 tenths a lap, but that would mean he'd get it on the very final lap. Jezza, however, into P6, has a bit of contact with Max Perrin on the apex, as Max Perrin does get DRS this time, but now Jezza will get it, even though the Williams has just got an absolutely massive advantage. Going to make it really, really difficult for the Aston to overtake, and you can see how little battery he has. Max Perrin also quite little, but he's got a bit more, and that's what you have to sacrifice when in a battle of this altitude and longitude. It's such a big fight, and it's over a fairly big points playing position in terms of their respective title fights. Because if we think about it, if Jezza gets P6 and Max Perrin comes P7, they will be tied in standings, because Max Perrin only scored 2 in the opener. So just to keep himself ahead of Jezza, he will need it. But them two fighting keeps Kinga just in their radar. If they pit, Kinga could hold up either of them. As Max Perrin completely pushes Jezza and himself off the road, that's probably going to have a little look at post-race. But that just shows the extent in which Max Perrin is not going to give up here. He's going to, however, Jezza down the inside, Max Perrin literally slams the door shut, hits him on the apex. Flashback to CRL days. I'd done that same thing to Toby, and I got penalised. But this ain't CRL, so it could side completely differently. However, Jezza, he's going to be wise. He's going to pick up DRS. He could pounce here though. He won't, because it's very risky. And there we go, little slide on curb. However, slightly better exit. He's gonna get slammed by Max Perrin, a very late move, and then forced off the road. It's not what you want to see in this stage of the race. I'd rather get home in P9. I'd rather finish last than not finish at all. And Max Perrin is playing the complete opposite game. He'd rather not finish at all than finish in 6th. But then it's just him wanting to defend like mad. Darkness 1.3 behind Thomas James. That's decreasing as you could see him going up the hill, as we still follow on with these two going at each other. As there's Jezza, he looks to the inside. Max Perrin weaving to defend. He makes 2 defensive manoeuvres. There's numerous things which will be investigated post-race just between the two of them. As Jezza to the inside, Max Perrin again just completely turns into him and forces him off the road. Max Perrin driving like an absolute lunatic here, which honestly is not a good look. Could he see a black flag post-race? Jezza, however, moves up. Max Perrin trying to lob him off the road once more. As Darkness, even though he was so close to moving up into P2, he's in the pits. He's pitted for softs. Mumbo Jumbo, there, he's on the exit. He could be ahead. It's going to be a fight. Mumbo Jumbo will clear him though, but hopefully the Ferrari can clear him almost as quickly as he loses the place. As I look at it, just a lot more grip on the inside. He's going to throw the car there. But then DRS assistance, there's nothing in which the McLaren can do to stop him. And there goes the Ferrari up into P3. And now may his hunt for fastest lap begin. But Thomas James comes into the pits. He could possibly be undercut by Darkness, but as a result of Darkness doing it, that's now given Snake Hunter the opportunity to do the same thing as the Alpine and pit for a set of softs. Therefore, this is just going to be a relentless chain of pit stops in the top 3, which does mean Snake Hunter, he's going to be in this lap and he'll be on 2 lap fresher softs than Darkness and a lap fresher softs than Thomas James. But the issue of where Thomas James has came out, he's got Darkness in DRS range. If it was one more lap he would have got overtaken. But now it means they will have to fight for P2 still. Darkness could also get past this lap. Down the inside goes Jezza, however. Oh, Max Perrin gives him racing room. Max Perrin may not necessarily agree to yielding the place, especially from what we've seen so far this race. But Jezza will have it for now. However, DRS will now go to the Williams. As Jezza's gone off the road, so has Max Perrin. They both follow each other off in almost identical fashion. As will the Williams make a move. Thomas James has made a mistake, and that's chucked him behind Darkness. He didn't have to bother about overtaking as Darkness sets fastest lap of the race. Snake Hunter would want to pit this lap to guarantee he comes out ahead of Darkness. If he doesn't, then he's just going to see out the win. A bit like what happened last time out. Nico, he done a one stop over some people on two stop, and he went to the end and won over me, who was on that two stopper. That's kind of a close parallel in this race. Snake Hunter's going to take the win because of the one stopper. And now Thomas James into DRS range of the Ferrari. Well, not exactly. He's currently flirting with that barrier. As Max Perrin, he's turned left into Jezza, and that's caused them to spin. It was an ambitious move, and now they just get back going like nothing's happened. Jezza will probably not be happy with that at all. As you can see, there's a slight hole in his sidepod. As Max Perrin, he gets on with life, which really isn't too sporting of the Williams. And it's like you have so many more laps. Therefore, I personally think the Williams will be heavily investigated post-race. Max Perrin defends one way. That's two. There was about two different defensive manoeuvres there. He's going to be looking very close to a DSQ post-race. I'll be shocked if he doesn't, to be honest. But that time he just lets Jezza has it, but he drops it. Jezza's dropped it. Max Perrin can now breathe out and go for it. Thomas James, however, he's now up into second. Darkness, he's going to want to try and fight back here, as Kinger a lap down on the top three. As Darkness getting very wobbly on the exit curbs, as Snake Hunter is rapidly approaching his teammate, who yields to the Aston, but will use his DRS to try and, in a way, claw himself back up towards Max Perrin. And the big question will be, how quickly will Max Perrin let him by? Because Jez is now behind his teammate, so they're going to be working together, in a sense that Jez is going to follow his line, pull himself along a bit. But like this DRS string, it's just enough to keep him there for at least another 4 corners. And now, and I'd say about now, the blue flags would be coming out for Max Perrin. But Jez's driving style, so many micro turns, the Senna technique in a way is just, in a way, slamming the throttle for each corner and making slight tweaks to steering. It's not the quickest way to drive, but it's his idol's way, as off he goes. As there goes Max Perrin, who's currently not listening to the blue flags. He knows how dangerous of a game he is playing. and he's still not yielding. So the Aston will have to do it his own way. He will force his way past Jezza. No, not past Jezza. Past Max. But there's only 2 laps to go. This is the penultimate lap for the leader. As Thomas James in darkness, still squabbling for the time being. He's still over P2. But yeah, sorry for those who came here to watch me race, but you wouldn't have got that this week, unfortunately. Just a mistake on my behalf. Take a DNF. Yeah, my bad. It was an idiotic mistake as well. Just pushing the car a bit too much. Tried getting a better exit than Mumbo Jumbo. Ended up in the wall and across the circuit into I win. Which, in that way, I'm sorry for, but I had no control of my car after I hit the wall. As there goes darkness, final lap. You need a move. As there he goes, he's still got DRS, so he has a little slide after kicking onto the power a bit too much, and he ended up, in a way, giving Thomas James that P2 back again. But through the safety car in the early stage, through Williams not letting him to lap him, it will be Snake Hunter who wins in Austria. Last time I raced Snake Hunter at Austria, he beat me, and that was also in CRL. But it will be Max Perrin 6th, Jezza 7th. Thomas James, he's going to take home a crucial P2 for Alpine. It wasn't a win or fastest lap, but it will be Thomas James, then Darkness. Mumbo Jumbo will be following through, who's very close to lapping Kinger. As Mumbo Jumbo, he will take home P4 for McLaren. Jedi, he's had a very quiet race, not much screen time, but he ended up coming on P5. He will be equaling me in the standings after this event, and that's P5 for Jedi. Well, there is your race winner, Snake Hunter, followed by Thomas James, Darkness, Mumbo Jumbo, Jedi, Max Perrin, Jezza, Kinger, Owen, then myself. Unfortunately, did not get too far with that race. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed my commentary of round 2, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.